Hello, this is Watch All About with another watch review, and in this review we're looking at the latest offering from Hamtun, which is called the Neon, and it will be released on Kickstarter on January the 30th, that's 2018. So we're going to have a little preview of it. I think this is probably the first actual review that's going live, so pretty exciting. So let's have a look at what you will expect. So I have a cheeky one here, but we have two versions. So I thought I'd show you the unboxing process first of all. So we have a like an outer cardboard box. If we slip that open, we've got a warranty and a information guide there. Have Ross's card, and then inside we have this kind of matte wooden box. If I flip it open, here we have another version, which is the DLC coated version, as you can see. Pretty cool. I'll just put that to the side. We also have a nice little tag and a little card saying please share on social media. So very nice, pretty cool boxes. That's a nice little touch. What I do like, if I just move that to the side, is the little like zip case that spare straps come in. I really like this. A lot of thought has been put into this, and as you can see we have our black leather strap with yellow stitching, which will actually go with this watch, this version here. So if I take this off and just move them over there, so we have two primary versions, a stainless steel version and a DLC coated version. Now they come in quite a large variety of options, which is really cool, because it gives everyone a nice choice depending on the color scheme they want. So the colors are, you get, obviously this is yellow. This is the full Loom dial version, so there's two options, but then you can get different versions of this yellow dial. You notice it also has a coloured ring around the outside. So other colours are blue, we have plain white, also we have orange, and then we have green as well. So really there's a colour for everyone. I chose yellow. I'm not sure why I chose it. It just, out of all the renderings, I think the yellow one just stood out to me most. So I really dig it, and I really like it. So I'm pretty happy with that choice. So let's talk about some of the specs then. So it's going to cost you, on Kickstarter, the pledges start at £260. So that is pretty mental. That's approximately $365 US dollars. The RRP will be £370 or $520. So, I mean, it is a lot of watch for the money. It is an automatic, and it is a Swiss-made automatic as well. So please keep that in mind. That is obviously a very good plus for a watch costing £260 if you get one of the early bird Kickstarter pledges. Size-wise, it is a diver, no doubt about that, and it comes across that way. So we have a 42mm diameter. Personally, I think it's perfect. I think Ross was considering 42 or 43. He chose 42, and I think that's a very wise decision, because it's just that little bit smaller that it won't put off so many people, but it still provides plentiful wrist presence. A height of 13mm, so not too thick, but enough to give you a good feel of a nice hefty watch, and a lug-to-lug length of 51.5mm. So all in all, a very well fitting watch. I've got a 7.25 inch wrist, around about for reference. I do think the lug-to-lug length is a little bit on the tall side. I think it's mainly because of the end links there. So I think if you had a smaller wrist than me, as you can see, it's sort of like almost the length of my wrist. So if you had a smaller wrist than me, it may be a little bit on the larger side. Certainly if you have a 7.5 inch wrist, then it will be absolutely perfect fitting. I just think the longer lug-to-lug length may make it a little bit more difficult for people with smaller wrists to wear. Weight-wise, it is a flipping beast. So we've got a weight of 193 grams with no links removed. Or we have this one. I've taken out 4 links to fit my wrist. Taken out four links, and it's still quite nice and comfortable. So the bracelets are big enough for people with bigger wrists, so that's good. 178 grams with 4 links removed, so it really does feel pretty good on the wrist. It gives you a really good quality feel to it. We have 100 meters water resistance or 10 atmospheres, so you can swim in it. No worries about that. It's got obviously got a screw-in crown and a pretty secure case back as well. So just don't go really deep sea diving in it. And then the movement STP 1-11, and I've seen this a couple of times. I've seen it in the Nth Azores and also the Nodus Trieste. It's basically Fossil Group's answer to the ETA and Solita or standard automatics. So it's another decent, affordable Swiss-made automatic, which is great because extra ones increases the possibility for little guys like this to be able to get decent Swiss-made automatics. So really good news about that. Regarding accuracy, it's pretty good as well. So using my Lepsy watch scope, the yellow was coming in at plus 5.4 seconds a day, and the DLC was coming in at plus 8.4 seconds a day. So I usually say if it's within 10 seconds a day, that's great. Obviously both of them are. The yellow one is almost COSC specs, so that's really good news as well. So hopefully as they get rolled out, they will all be as accurate as this. Lug widths of 22mm, so a nice decent chunky bracelet to go with the size of the case, and you get a 2-year warranty as well. A couple of extra features: the bezels are ceramic, so that's really cool, really good news. Nice decent materials used there, and a lovely sapphire, double domed sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside. So as you can see, it's double domed, so we don't get any distortion at tight angles like that. Okay, so let's discuss it in closer detail. So starting off with the dial, really nice design, I think. Quite simple, minimal, but also quite friendly. I think the hands are slightly unusual shape, and also the this ring around the inside with the logo and automatic sort of printed to carry on the flow of the circle is a nice little touch as well. The loom is really good and strong as well, so you do notice it. It's not mind-blowingly strong like Seiko, but not many watch manufacturers do manage to replicate Seiko loom, so let's leave that there. But all in all, for the price you're paying, it is impressive and it is good, and it is suitable. So you will be happy with the quality of the loom. All of the finishing is pretty much spotless as well. We have a very nice kind of matte finish to the hands as well, which work well with the entire feel of the watch on this version, obviously. But on this version, as you can see, it's black. The hands are black to match the dial. So on this, the entire dial is loomed, and then you can basically see the black bits as shadows on the dial, which is a pretty cool, like complete flip reverse as to what usually happens with loom. So it's a very nice, funky little alternative, and it is very striking as well. Many people have seen this watch and they've been like, yeah, I like that, that is cool. So that's a very good little feature with the full loom dial. Moving back to this, I think the print work is nice. The font used is really cool as well. The logo here is loomed as well. When I get the full review up, you'll be able to see loom shots of both of these watches as well. Rehaut as well, we have a subtle hour chapter ring around the outside with yellow dashes for every 5 minutes or for every hour. So that's a nice little touch. On the black and white version, it's just still black, just a little bit thicker as well. So subtle, but nice and easy to use, and it frames the entire dial nicely as well. So I think the dial is really nicely designed, pretty much flawless as well. We'll have a look at it in even closer detail with the macro lens on soon, so we'll see how good quality it is. Moving on to the case then, so starting from the top, we obviously have this sapphire crystal, as I mentioned before. Decent anti-reflective coating. I always find that decent anti-reflective coating sets the watch apart. It makes it not only a good watch, but a great watch. And when you look at this with the naked eye, you can really tell that there's something a little bit more and a little bit special about this, thanks to the anti-reflective coating on the crystal. Obviously, I'm in a room with lights and windows, so you are going to see reflections, but to the naked eye, it does have that really nice sheen that you get on more luxurious watches. So again, really good quality, really nice to see. If we have a look at it on the white dial, white dials naturally are slightly less reflective anyway, so it looks even crisper and cleaner on the white dial version, which is a nice thing. Moving on to the case then. So this is a standard stainless steel case. Everything is brushed, which I think is very wise for a decent tool, dive watch that's going to be used. Everything that's brushed is good because it's more resilient to scratches, basically. So it's a pretty standard barrel shape, just with these curvaceous lugs. We have drilled through lugs as well, so it is easy to change the strap, which is a nice touch. Decent thick crown guards as well surrounding our crown. If we have a look at the crown, it's got the Hamtun logo really nicely embossed on the end there as well. Looking at the case back, so the case back is the same on both. Now I will raise this, and it has been fixed. There is a missing H here, so it's British design instead of British design. Obviously, for any watches that will be sent out through Kickstarter, don't worry, that will have the correct spelling. So I just thought I'd raise that before someone else noticed it. Case back is the same on both watches. So if I show you the DLC coating, really nice kind of matte finish to it. And the case back is steel rather than DLC. Now I think they can actually get away with this, which is really clever, because obviously on every colour scheme we have this ring around the outside. With the white we have a stainless steel ring, but then it almost looks like the case back is supposed to be that way because it goes so well with this, almost like a sandwich. So that's a clever little piece of design there, because usually a steel case back on a DLC case will look really out of just a bit unusual basically, but I think that tallies it all up nicely. We have a lovely custom rotor as well. I personally probably would have preferred the Hamtun logo on it rather than neon, because then it would carry the branding through, and that same custom rotor will be able to be used on all Hamtun watches, but that's just my personal thought. Obviously it's still cool that we're getting a custom rotor here, so that's a nice little touch. And then around the exhibition window we have just various specifics engraved on it as well. The bezel, as I mentioned before, ceramic, so nice and smooth finish to it, put into place with 6 screws as well. Everything's nice and neat and pretty well done, to be honest. Moving on to the bracelet then, nice big fat H-links, as you can see, really decent quality, really big thick bad boys, and very easy to resize as well thanks to screw-in pins. Just be careful, make sure all of them are nice and tight, because in transit they do tend to loosen up. That's just one of those things, so when you do get it and you resize it, just check all of the other pins to stop any from falling out or just loosening up. So really comfortable to wear, really decent links, and you can just get the feel of a decent quality watch. I really like the buckle as well, really big, fat and chunky, but what really stands out is the welded on logo. As you can see there, it's not engraved or laser etched or anything like that. Really decent, thick, chunky logo. Obviously that would have cost a lot more, and Ross has told me it has, but he made the effort with this buckle. Another cool touch about the buckle is this ratcheting extension. As you can see, you just press the 2 buttons and that will extend. That'll be good for diving if you are diving, and you can see it on the underside there. There it is in all its glory. So again, another really nice touch. We have 3 points for micro adjustment as well, which again is very, very handy, and I'm sure many of you will be using them. Okay, so that's all the different parts in detail. Let's have a look at it in even closer detail with the macro lens. So starting off with the black dial. Right, so, oh, looking a bit bright. Okay, so print work and our hour markers, very nice and neat. Our hands have that sort of like blasted, almost sheen to them, which is a nice little touch. The shape's, you know, pretty much flawless as well, really nicely manufactured. Can't find any faults really at all with the dial. Moving on to the bezel then. Here's our screws and our little yellow ring around the outside. Moving on to our case. There's our lugs and our screw in, our drilled through lugs as well. And if we flip it over, we'll be able to see our crown with the logo nicely embossed on the end there. If I flip it over, have a look at the case back. So there's our details, just engraved around the outside. And then if I just get the DLC white dial version, there's the logo printed and just black shadows on the hour markers as well. Looking at the coating, I have noticed a little tiny mark on the bezel there, so just be aware that these can get marked if you do hit them hard. That wasn't me, by the way. And then we've just got our matte DLC coating on the end there, and our logo embossed on the crown like so. Okay, so let's just have a look at the, if I just give it a quick wipe, have a look at the movement. So here's the custom print work on the rotor. You can see there the Swiss made print work on the movement as well. If I can just spin it around a little bit, spin the rotor around, should be able to see some more pearlage on the movement, as you can see there. Very nice, attractive movement as well. It's much nicer looking than just the stock ETA movement, which is usually not decorated at all. So to have some pearlage is a nice little positive as well. Okay, there we go. Moving on to the bracelet then. Finally, everything is brushed on the stainless steel version, as is the same with the case. Nice decent H links, as you can see, and brushed sides as well. That's one of our screws. And if we look at the buckle, be able to see the welded on logo. There we go. Really nice touch, that is. Decent big fat buckle. Here's our buttons on the side. And there we go. And then just a quick look at the buckle on the DLC version as well. More or less the same, except for it's black. And like has a blasted finish. So again, here's the buckle. And some of the links. You can see there the blasted finish to it. One thing I do want to mention on the DLC bracelet is that there's a couple of bits. It's probably going to be quicker and easier showing you without the macro lens on. There's a couple of bits where the DLC coating hasn't quite reached, as you can see here, just on like the insides of the links. So it's actually a lot more expensive to DLC coat all of the links separately 100% and then put it together. The only alternative is to construct the bracelet first and then DLC coat it, but obviously that does mean little bits like this do get missed. So that's just something to be aware of if you're happy with being able to see like these little grey bits poking through. But obviously you can't see it when you're wearing it. It's just when you're really manipulating the bracelet. Okay, so the Hamtun Neon. I mean, I've been a good fan of Hamtun since they released their first watch, the H1 in late 2016, I think it was. That was a great watch. This one, even more so. Ross really has put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into these watches, and it's plain to see. As soon as you see the watch in the box and as soon as you handle it, the quality is there. It is really exceptional quality. Really, the only negatives I can think of are, as I mentioned before, just the little bits of steel you can see poking through on the DLC case, on the DLC bracelet, sorry. And then the only other thing is the fact that it's got quite a long lug-to-lug length. So if you do have a smaller wrist, it may be a little bit too big on the wrist. But then again, some people may not care about that anyway. So, you know, apart from that, everything else is incredible quality, really well put together, really nice design, excellent specs as well, and for a very competitive price, especially if you get it on Kickstarter for £280. I mean, that is crazy. So I've really enjoyed the Hamtun Neon. The leather strap as well, if you do go for a leather strap, is a lovely quality. Just have a quick look at that. We have a lovely coloured stitching to match whichever type of watch you get. We have the logo embossed on the underside, and then this side, he said specifically that he didn't go for a engraved buckle on purpose, so that, you know, it wasn't a mistake of, it wasn't leaving it out. Basically, that is intentional, so that's good to know as well. So yeah, really lovely watch, highly recommended, and really enjoyable to wear as well. So this was the Hamtun Neon, and that's what it's all about.